This is Nina. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Thank you to everybody that has been coming to my channel. Like this video, share this video, and hit that notification bell so you guys know when I drop my next one. We're going to get straight into this Brittney, Eady versus Real Housewives of Atlanta drama. And she is suing them, if you guys did not know, for $20 million after the alleged pain and suffering she was caused from um adult pictures being hung up during one of Kenya Moore's business reveals when she had hosted them for a business opening party. Now again, this lawsuit has triggered a lot of things concerning housewives. This lawsuit also might sink the entire franchise. That's just my own opinion. Everybody is talking about this. And this document is actually not that long. So we're just going to get straight into it. And again, the plaintiff is Brittney Eady. This was filed in Supreme Court of the state of New York, County of New York. This is versus Truly Original LLC, Bravo Media, NBC Universal, Ebdemal Shine North America, and Jane and John Doe's 1 through 5. I'm actually very curious to know who the Jane and John Does are. That could be anybody. It could be a business. It could be individual people. But let's just get straight into this. And it's saying that the basis of the venue is the defendant's principal place of business. And the events and damages contractual choice of venue provision. And right here, this is basically saying that you are hereby summoned and required to appear in this action by serving a copy of your notice of appearance upon the undersigned within 20 days after the service of the summons, exclusive of the day of service. If the summons was personally delivered upon you in the state of New York, or within 30 days after service is complete, if the summons is not personally delivered to you within the state of New York. If you do not serve a notice of appearance or answer or otherwise respond within the applicable time limitation, a judgment may be entered against you by default for the relief demanded in the notice set forth below. Signed June 5th, 2025. And this is the law firm. This is the lawyer, Benjamin D. White, who is representing plaintiff Brittney Eady. You guys remember she was a housewife on this current season. And that is her lawyer's address and phone number as well as email. Now, again, let's just get straight into the summons issue. And like I said, there's a lot of moving parts to this. So with this summons, it's basically saying that we're going to give you X amount of days to at least respond to this complaint, which we'll be reading very shortly. Now, it's also saying that you can be put into a default judgment if you do not respond. If anybody that has been sued before does know that. And right here, I just want to point out there are so many defendants listed. There's at least 5 to maybe 9 defendants. And I don't know if the Jane or John Does are other businesses or specific people. But I'm actually wondering if this summons was actually served to everyone listed. Like, does everyone listed know about this? So I'm very curious about that, because do they all have to make a response? Does one person have to make a response? And I'm saying that again because there are, let me see, 3 LLCs and 5 Jane and John Does. So I'm wondering who will actually have to respond to this. I'm assuming it's everybody, but I don't know exactly how things work in the state of New York. Now, right here in red, it says that this is a copy of a pleading filed electronically pursuant to New York State's court rules, which at the time of its printout from the court system's electronic website had not yet been reviewed, approved by the county court, because the court rules, and that's the New York sections, authorize the county clerk to reject filings for various reasons. Readers should be aware that documents bearing this legend may not have been accepted for filing by county clerk office. So again, This is just stating that it has to be reviewed. But as of right now, I haven't heard anything that it was rejected. So I'm assuming that this was accepted and did not have to be revised. And let's just get straight into reading this. It's actually not very long. So again, plaintiff is Brittney, and here is what she is alleging. The nature of this action is defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, false light, respondent superior, and SH, and hostile work environment in violation of the New York State human rights law and the New York City human rights law in regards to an incident occurring during a June 6, 2024 taping of the reality show The Real Housewives of Atlanta and the subsequent production and airing of an Real Housewives of Atlanta episode on April 6th of 2025. I'm going to stop right there because I was previously not aware of when they filmed this. So apparently they had almost a year before they actually aired this specific episode. And if you guys seen that episode where they walked into Kenya's business and these blurred out defamation pictures were hanging up and everybody started walking out, this is what they are referring to. So basically, they were sitting on this for a year and they actually probably just could have cut the whole thing out and just let the cast refer to it. But let's just keep going because I actually think Bravo could be responsible for airing this. I mean, they had a whole year to go through reviewing that specific video through an entertainment lawyer. So that part is going to be probably one of the biggest parts of this case if it's argued right. The lawsuit continues on June 6th of 2024 at an event that was filmed for the production of RHOA. One of the show's cast members, and they are referring to Kenya Moore, willfully, intentionally, recklessly, and or with gross negligence with false, defamatory, harassing, and damaging statements regarding the plaintiff, another cast member on the show, and they're referring to Brittney Eady, in front of an audience of approximately 200 people. The cast member displayed posters containing written false and defamatory statements regarding plaintiff and her occupation, as well as an explicit photograph depicting a woman having fellatio in a graphic conduct manner. The cast member falsely claimed that the photograph depicted the plaintiff. Plaintiff was not present when the photograph was presented and did not see the explicit photograph until after certain of these events were aired on Bravo, nearly a year later, as addressed below. Attendees of the event took photographs, video, and audio recordings of the cast members' statements and circulated certain of them on social media sites, including Instagram and TikTok, and the statements were subsequently circulated by media outlets. The foregoing actions of the cast member at issue were within the scope of the defendant's business and in furtherance of the defendant's businesses. So she actually might be going after Kenya's business because this is where the incident happened. So that could be one of the Jane or John Does, which is not currently listed. But yeah, I can actually see when she's saying that the defendant's business, that definitely probably could be Kenya Moore's business. Continuing with this, defendants willfully, intentionally, recklessly, and or with gross negligence republished certain of the cast members' statements at issue. Specifically, defendants willfully, intentionally, recklessly, or with gross negligence produced, edited, and aired an episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta on April 6th of 2025 that included footage of certain of the cast members' statements at issue, as well as commentary from other cast members that described the photograph displayed. Further, the manner in which the episode was aired falsely yet unmistakably implied that the graphic photograph presented by the cast member, Kenya Moore, depicted plaintiff Brittney Eady. On information and belief, defendants knew that the photograph did not depict plaintiff. or at least were reckless or grossly negligent in failing to learn that the photograph did not depict the plaintiff. Despite plaintiff's repeated requests prior to the airing of the episode at issue that defendants show her the photograph, defendants refused to do so by way of foregoing. Defendants contributed to a hostile work environment for plaintiff and SH. Plaintiff by subjecting the plaintiff to unwelcome, offensive, and adult behavior and comments based on her gender, by requiring her to continue working in an environment in which she had been subject to a gendered attack, creating an inferior condition of privilege of employment because of her gender. The relief is sought as followed: the immediate removal of the episode from public access on all platforms, networks, and media outlets in the defendant's control. A public statement by defendant that the statements by the cast members and the depiction of those statements, including the impression that the explicit photographs depicted plaintiff, were false. A monetary award to be determined at trial entered against the defendants, jointly and severally and or individually, as well as punitive damages entered against the defendants, jointly and severally and or individually, and for the costs and fees of this proceeding, including legal, and for such other relief as this court deems just and proper. Should defendants fail to appear herein, judgment will be entered by default for the sum of not less than $20 million with interest and the costs and fees of this action. Plaintiff designates New York County as the place of trial. The basis of this designation is defendant's principal place of business. The situs of where events relevant to this action occurred, and the venue selected in employment contract governing the relationship between plaintiff and defendant Truly Original LLC, as well as the employment contract governing the relationship between the offending cast member and defendant Truly Original LLC. Dated June 5th, 2025, New York, New York. Signed her lawyer. And again, that was very short. This is just a copy of the initial lawsuit that I definitely wanted to pass on to you guys. Honestly, and I'm not a lawyer. I am not a lawyer. I actually think she actually has a case here. This aired on TV. It happened at a establishment from one of the cast members. This was shot a year before it was actually shown to the audience of Housewives of Atlanta. So yeah, this lawsuit actually might stick. I'm very eager to see how this is responded to. So far, as of the making of this video, there has not been an actual response, but I will definitely be following this particular lawsuit. All right, you guys, this wraps this up. If anything else comes out about this case, I will come back and make another video. Share your comments respectfully below. Enjoy my short food videos. And until next time, you guys, be safe and enjoy your day. Bye, guys.